we got a lot of things going on. Our theme this month for our club is Boo, the Boo of October. Hopefully, you learn a few things. I saw some nifty items come up on Facebook this week. Um, and I can't drop names because I can't remember a name for to save my soul. So, but I saw a couple of really cute little designs come out, and they're all cute little things that go on the table for Thanksgiving. That's key. If you're thinking about that, we've done this. I mean, just a week or so ago, we did a small ring box using shop scraps. The Scott did that for us. And that was when it really dawned on me that we'll go way back to talking with Kim Tippin and the crew about there is no shop scraps. There's just unturned projects that you need to get into. And I think the little knickknacks to go on the table are important when you, especially when you go to Thanksgiving, be it this weekend or in November, whichever Thanksgiving you choose. Um, but you're going to have little ones there, and give a little giveaway or a little takeaway for the kids is important to do. I spent last Sunday with my family. It was my birthday, and thank you. I got over 500 greetings for my 75th birthday, and happy birthday, Ruby. Ruby is one day younger than I am. Uh, I remember that. And we had a fantastic time. And um, I brought a little knickknack that I'd made years ago, and I put it on the table for my great grandson. And I was trying to explain him about animals and farm animals and all this. And we had a conversation about his birthday coming up this weekend about a fishing rod. And then I got to thinking, boy, for Thanksgiving, I'd like to do a few little get things out of the gallery here and put them up there on the table for him, just to have him play with them and be amazed by it. And little tokens like that are cute, and they do great for gifts. And when you're giving a gift out, to include a little something that comes from right here, comes from your hands, not something that comes with a gift card or from Amazon or Walmart or any of those places. Something that comes from here. Put a little something together. Give a bottle of wine. It can be a mediocre bottle of wine, but with a good bottle stopper, it's much better. So, think about the holidays coming up. So when you're in the shop burning through all that stuff you have, and we all have stuff, it's like a collection thing for us. Um, when you're doing that, think about the people that you're going to make contact with over the next 2 or 3 months. You'll be sharing moments, be going to lunches and parties and get-togethers, functions and such. Every once in a while, you can drop a little something and just let them know it's yours. Just say, look, from my shop to you, I want you to have this. And it really means something to folks that they get something that's treasured from you, made by you. It's special. This week, I had a couple of conversations with folks about how to sign and autograph pieces and marking up stuff and all. And I had one on Facebook, and I saw Dane jumped in on it the other day about how to mark up stuff. And I got to thinking about a Yoko club I belonged to that had workshops 2 or 3 times about how to sign your work and stuff. And it hit me when they did that, and then they did it over and over and over. Um, is how they missed on all this. Um, do you realize that if you create something, your signature is not the important part of what's going on? Your signature is not the carry out. Your signature, your description or whatever is not all that makes all. You made it. You created it. If you put your mark on it, your mark
What do you
on it,
mean?
you've signed it. You've indoctrinated. You've given it away. So don't go nuts on this. Most of the time, I've really got my best feelings when I took an ultra fine paint pencil, and used to get them at the art store, and I would just put my initials. That's it. And my wife said, we should put your date and what kind of wood and all that. I said, well, I know what it is, and I know when I did it. All the other information is sales, and I don't think I need to sell it. I'm giving it away. She's, well, what about doing a medallion artist and that? And I said, those are all nice, but to what extent do you want them and do you need them? So when you're doing that on your work, think about your mark. That's it. Put your X on a line. You remember the old stories about that? Put your mark on a line, and that was it. That's all you needed to do. Well, in today's world, that doesn't change. That's all you need to do is put your mark on a line. Your mark should be adequate, and it should make you feel like you have autographed your work, you've signed your work, you've emblazoned your name and all on it. And if you need more than that, why? And I'm not knocking if you like to do that, but I just think let's take it on a notch and be simple and reasonable about it. But I like to see people's marks. I know a couple of very, very good turners that do not sign their work, they do the mark. And they will do it with a tool, a squiggle, a mark, a line, an ampersand, whatever.
Oh, give me a second.
And they believe that's what they need to do to identify their work. You know, when you give it away to somebody, they probably don't need any more than that. But they know it came from you and it came from here. You made it, you gave it to them, and you kind of made their day. So that's what I'm looking for the next couple of months. Little things that'll make people's day. We're all human. We all like to be thought of and enjoy the works of others. And we do some great work here. I mean, the newsletter came out today, issue number 21. Now, how many clubs in this entire world can say they've got 21 issues of a newsletter out, like this? Not a lot of them. No. We're kind of leading the pack in that group, and we got an awesome newsletter. It's 8 pages long. Yeah. And that's because you folks got involved. Got involved. JJ's our editor. He does this. Professional looking job. It's top notch. I posted it on our Facebook page just now because I have to wait till my daughter converts it to a package I can put. Then I saw JJ's note says, hold up, I got to put the proper issue out. So JJ, I'll correct it when I get the proper issue, but I didn't want to wait too long. I put it up on about 10 different Facebook pages that I'll work in. All of them, because I'm so proud of what you guys do, you guys and gals, okay? Bad term to say guys. But I'm so proud of what y'all do. I love to see the work and creativity comes out of it. And then I will pick people that I know and purposely send a page or two from it and say, look at this. This is from a club. This is from a club they don't even pay to belong to. They just belong to it because of the woodchuck. That's what we do. This is it. And look at the art that comes out of it. Look at the work that goes into it. We have volunteers to put this together. And then when you're looking for more, go to the world's greatest website dealing on wood turning. Yep. worldwidewoodturners.org. That's the one. And that I get, you got to be kidding me, responses back from some guys. You know, it'll never work out. It'll never hold up. Like, yeah, you Worldwide Woodturners have proven it wrong. Yeah. But hey, if you've got something fantastic like that, we'd like to see it. And you know what we're missing right now? We're missing some of these. We want to see the projects soup the nuts. I want to see how you start out with it, how you plan it. And even from the simple drawings or sketches. And we all start with a sketch. It might be in here, but we all start with a sketch somehow. You know, if you build the building, you got to put a stake in the ground someplace to get started. Well, where that's, and we want you to go there, find that, and show us give us your idea, your rough idea. Where did it come from? Did it come from the wood? Did it come from you? Did you see something here? Did you see something there? Did somebody say you just can't do that? Where did all that food come from that created that idea? If you take an idea back, that's what happens. I mean, it wasn't just happenstance. So you do that and then send us the package. Tell us what you came up with, why you came up with it, show us your design, and then bring us through the piece. Yeah. It takes 6 photographs. We can make that work. Give us a chance. Because sometimes you'll come up with something that I will never, ever think of. And sometimes you'll come up with something and I'll go, oh my, you know what I can do with that? Yeah, man, you just, I nowadays I'll say I Billy Birded. Why? Because you teased it and all of a sudden, Billy's sitting there saying, man, how can I push that over the edge? It's right there. It's right there. How can I go there? And then, we trigger a response on somebody else's brain. Doug Sperry does really good about bringing things to us, Jim and Rita, and they show us that stuff, and then it gets our brain working. It really does. And after a few minutes, we say, wait. They only filled the bucket. They didn't know how to tip it over. I know how to tip it over and get all of it out. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for everything else that was left in there. I got a kick out of one. I saw Billy post something on our Facebook page today about he opened a box on his counter and found the threading jig that he bought years and years ago. Billy, you're not alone. You couldn't get all those people in that room here with me that did the same thing. I mean, I am right here in my living room, and I opened the cabinet yesterday and found a part of a piece that I got from Meztec Tools 10 years ago, still in the box, right there. And the only reason I still have it, and I don't know what it was, is that it didn't have a label on the outside of the box. So, I thought it was something else completely. So I opened it today and I got to figure out what to do with this piece from Meztec Tools. In fact, I got to figure out what the hell did Meztec Tools do. So you're not alone. We all have those little stumbles in the brain. And I love to see what happens when it does. Bill, I hope you use your threading jig. I used to love to thread things. They really screw people up. If you did a good threading with perfect grain matches, you know how to relieve yeah. Somebody should do a demo and show that one time. Do some hand. Yeah, hey, throwing it out
Absolutely.
there, because we
got my vote. I'd like to.
Because that's a little bit of magic in your threading. When you can do a thread piece and get the chin stop right spot and get that perfect grain match. And see, you get that match when you can move the lid, but when it locks down solid, and you still happen to get that grain match, that's the beauty of threading. And then you get these smart guys that do left-hand threads. Yeah. And that I don't have any room in my life for those people. That's that's just it. I mean, go get off the bus. Come on. I know a guy that made his own threading tools. He worked all weekend on them, got them perfect. First time he used them, he realized they came out left hand. He was going to grind them off and throw them away. I almost got him. I almost got him. I made too much of a song. I thought we'd give him away, but no, he realized what he had after a few moments. So threading is fun, and today there's I don't know if it's a new series of tools out there, but some people have simplified from what was out for years and years. And it seems to be, I would say, simpler to learn how to thread. And all I know is pick the right wood. Don't screw around. You can practice on junk, but you're gonna do a good piece. Do a good piece with some good wood. You can thread corian, you can thread copper, brass, plastics. Yeah, you're not restricted to just woods. So it's a fun time. And what we take it here, folks, everything we see on Worldwide Wood Turners, we see these little ideas pop up left and right. And those left and right things go together and they make be crude, I'd call them a brain fog. You see it, and all of a sudden you say, man, you know what? You know, put the brakes on for a minute. I gotta sketch this out. Why? Because I got an idea where I can take this and and it's like Al. Al is the kind of guy that I have to be careful of when I do this. Because Al would be sitting there saying, wait. Can you go back and do that again? I hear that, Al. I do. And I know what you're doing. You're sitting there saying, go back over and look at the bottom of that one more time. I don't think we called on to that. Yeah, we called on to that. You getting ideas off of that. And we don't mind it. That's what we do. Your information. So one more time. Hold it up a little. Yeah. All right. I got it. So, and we share those ideas. That's the beauty of what we do. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for having that kind of participation, jumping in there and sharing it. That's why we got together. Been more than 5 years, folks. And less than 2 years away, we're going to go to Wisconsin, all of us. I hope you're in the pack. Yeah. And we're all going to go there. We're going to level up. Even feel, level up. We're going to have such a great time. We're all going to get together and we're gonna share one-on-one information, groups, packs, gangs, cliques, gizmo, whatever. We're going to put together a sort of a symposium, sort of a workshop, sort of a rodeo, sort of a calabash, whatever you wish to call it. But we're going to get together and do wood turning, serious wood turning. And that's coming up in September of 2026. And I'm looking forward to it. My bags are packed right there. I'm ready to go. And every couple of days, my wife teases me about planning vacations. And I said, well, we got to leave that space open for that year. You know why? Because nothing's going to interfere with that. Nothing is going to interfere with that. And the other day she said, you don't mind if it's field dancing school because she teaches dancing school. No, they'll live without you. It's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, we covered it. So, but we're planning, you're planning. It's called Level Up. It changes all the time. We have 8 members, volunteers that get together and put this thing together for you. That's right. We don't have a committee. We don't have a group. We didn't hire anybody. We're putting this together and it's going to be magnificent. So, level up. If you have any questions on it, check out our website. We always are up to date. That's where all the information for wood turning goes. And if you've got an event coming up with your club, your local club, your regional club, whatever, and you want to tell us about your event, even IRDs, and please, we're wide open to this stuff. We have an event calendar on our website. And that event calendar is open to anybody, anywhere, anytime dealing with wood turning. That's right. You don't think you got to be a member of the clique or the gang or the bunch or whatever to do this. We talk wood turning. And it's pretty simple to just say, I have an IRD coming up. Scott Hampton doesn't. And right now, Cade is in Great Britain, Cade Bolger. He's in Great Britain teaching right now. I love to see the little clips off his demonstrations. He's probably cooking up that town over there because he's very good with IRDs. And he'll advertise his on our event page. That gives you a chance to get out and find out what's going on. Some you may have to pay for, some you can just join. Some clubs share and some clubs don't. But hey, if we get a chance to put words out there about an event coming up or of something happening and deals with wood turning, that's what we do. You know, we didn't get married to anybody or any association or any group or any massive organization or anything like that. No, we're just dating them all. So we're just um, looking for information from y'all. Somebody just told me Cade's back from in a bow practice tonight. See, that kid travels around, boy, he does. And his son Cash is just cute as can be. All right, if you got something for gallery this evening, it's 10 minutes after the hour, 6 o'clock Central Time. We'd like to see what you have presented to be presented to. Want to see your ideas, want to see the work you do. And we're going to ask you some questions now. But number one is going to be, what's the finish? So be prepared when you show it, they're going to say, what's the finish? Because I want to know what your secrets are. So, we have one of our regular members, we call him co-host, that goes to our chat, watches a chat, and you say, I have something to show. They put your name on a list, and we go down the list as it appears on chat. So raising and waving your hand and all that doesn't help. Okay? So just get on the list early and we'll get to you. So right now, let's see who's made the list. Who's there?
Well, we got Mr. Dale Slaughter up.
Oh no, right off the bat?
Yeah.
Had to unmute myself. And
It was
I've
so
been a little
peaceful.
busy this week. I made 5 ice cream snowmen or icicle snowmen this week.
There you go.
All made out of scrap pieces.
Wouldn't that
It
be
would've got-
on the table?
It would have gotten burned otherwise. 2 of them are just black hatted and face painted on. The other 3 I used Hampshire Sheen intrinsic dyes. 2 of them got red hats. One's got a green hat. And these 3 are finished with shellac. These 2 still need their finish.
Nice.
I'm not very good at painting faces, so I decided after doing the faces on these guys, I decided to burn the faces on these.
Looks good.
Looks great.
And I'm also in the process. I got a couple of snowmen that I'm making that I'm gonna paint similar to these guys and burn their faces on, but they're not done yet.
Looking good there, Dale.
How'd you do the hats, or are they all one piece?
Yeah, they're all one piece.
Oh, okay, very cool.
I got a couple of craft fairs coming up in November, so I'm trying to get ready for those.
There you go.
That's all I got.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's go to Mr. Kingsley. Hey, Dave.
Howdy. I've managed to get some shop time in, and wonder of wonders, I did some bowls.
Nice.
Nice
pretty.
cherry.
You always have pretty bowls.
That's
Thank
one
you.
beautiful piece of wood, boy.
What is
that
the wood?
It's cherry. I had somebody drop 5 or 6 logs that were about 18 feet long,
Nice.
a little over a foot in diameter. I'm working through them. And then do one more.
Nice.
Very nice.
I like the shape of this one better.
Yeah, I love this one. The problem is I have to be careful, and my wife says, that's mine.
Yeah, you lose more stuff that way.
Yeah,
Look at it as support for your passion.
yes, she finds people that need a bowl.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's
Like
easy to do, isn't it?
she recently did a trip out to Nebraska, and every place she stayed got a bowl. Yeah, because she figured,
There
well,
you
I'm
go.
not paying for a hotel, at least I can do is give them a bowl.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
it works. And that's half the fun anyhow.
Sure.
Giving stuff away. But that's it for this week.
All right.
Been an
Thanks, Dave.
interesting one.
All right, Jeff,
Oh.
we got you now.
Caught me daydreaming. Hi, everybody. This project I've been working on for about 3 weeks now. It's hard maple, Peruvian walnut, and Paduke.
Wow, that's
Good.
pretty.
I thought the feature ring was going to be the tricky part, and it turned out to be the easiest part I did on this bowl. This bowl fought me all the way. So, but I've redesigned it to get it more of a easy taper to it, so it's more like a calabash than kind of bulbous in the center. But all in all, I like it. It came out much better than I thought it would, considering
I
the
like it
problems I was
too.
having. Thank you.
Nice
And my
shape.
go-to finish is axe wood paste, and I buff with carnauba wax on a Beal.
Pretty.
How many pieces per ring?
24 segments, 9 rows, so that's 216 segments, I think.
Oh, okay, 24.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
I like 24. That seems to be a nice number, especially if I have to go down in half-inch sizes. It really makes it look nice. And it gives me, especially in here, it gives me a little bit more room
More
to
to
work
play
with
with.
design.
More to play with.
Yeah,
Right.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm.
so that's mine for this week.
Sure,
Very
for
pretty,
this
yeah.
week? What'd you say, for this week?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
working on another one right now and designing it, and so probably 2-3 weeks I'll have it finished. That
Very
and the bowl
cool.
I showed a couple weeks ago are both going to be Christmas gifts for family.
Nice. Am I on that list?
Down at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Right on. Hey, as long as I'm on that list, I'm good. I'm
Okay,
good.
there you go.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Okay.
Appreciate it. All right, let's go to Mr. Dawson. Al, we
Wow.
got you.
Well, yeah, I have to follow that. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I hope I'm just not, stupid. But if I see a piece of wood that just looks like, just throw it away. I have to try and do something. It's a piece of smaller maple, and it's garbage. That's if you look sideways. I don't know why it's always backwards. I've lost it. See, this
There you go.
on my camera. Something must have happened because this is on the left side, and this is my right hand. Oh, I don't know. It's weird.
Cameras tend to reverse. Yeah.
It's only like that on your screen, Al. We're seeing it the correct way.
Right.
I was messed up last week when I was showing that little pumpkin thing. It was just goofy. But anyway, it was a piece of garbage, and look, it's cracked there and it's cracked there. So I planned this whole thing probably coming apart. But
Gives it character. Don't point straws out. It's beautiful.
It's not garbage. That's art. That's art.
garbage
before you started. Now it's art.
You
Right.
successfully completed it, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
yeah. But
Yeah,
I don't know what to
beautiful
get down
piece of work, Al.
Look, it's broken on the bottom, and look, how weird is that? It was never this way before when I was talking to you guys. Wow, I must have done something. No, the big thing I did all week was JJ's demo last week. I was front and center. I was front and center with that. I've been doing this a little over 6 years or so, and yeah, I've made a lot of boxes, but I'd never be able to get that lid the way I want it. Now, believe it or not, this is there's something wrong here. No, I have to go. I must have done something because I never had to do this.
Al, you go into your camera settings. You go into the video section. Go into your camera settings and look
Right.
for where it says mirror the video, and that'll fix it.
All right, okay. I'm not gonna do it now. I'll just act stupid. But anyway, this was about this tall, and what I was doing was you figure it's on. Oh, Jesus, man, this is so weird. Jesus. Anyway, headstock, tailstock, and you turn it. I was taking off. I would do the lid first, put it aside, and I would go and start and do what I want to do to try to catch a nice snug fit. And like I said, this was this long. And yeah, it would be wrong. I'll cut this part back off again. I'll start again. It would be wrong. I made 20 of these this week. This here, I left it like this. This is loose fit. This is like about the third, fourth one. I was still doing what I always did, made a loose fit.
Give it to some little old lady that doesn't have to struggle to get it apart.
But yeah, the wind will blow it off also. Then this one here, I got better with it. You know, I got a nice little fit, and then I funneled the bottom of it. I said, okay, I'm gonna keep this. I like it, and I funneled the bottom of it. It was just starting to be a good fit, and then I
a coin or something in the bottom, Al.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's not going away now. I kind of like the way it does fit. Now again, this is, Jesus. Right now,
just look at your piece of wood, Al. Don't worry about the camera.
We're
Okay, I'll do that. So it was about 6 inches, and again, I made the lid first, put it aside, and I just kept trying. I mean, I have nothing there, but now here, I'm understanding what JJ was showing. You know, that's so cool. I mean, I don't know. I gotta do something like you said, Matt. But anyway, I got the bevel down inside next, back to the back, and yes, it creates a little air pocket in there. And where I'm going with the whole story is, this time I was actually trying to. I mean, I knew what I was looking for. I knew what I was looking for. So the demonstration was just fantastic for me. And look at that.
Wow. Nice pop.
See, the whole thing is, I planned to get to this. So now I know what to look for. JJ, thanks. Thank you so much. Now, here's the best one. I need a crane. This is, Jesus, I gotta go do something, Matt. I'm driving myself nuts. But
you're killing me, Al.
This one was a nice one. And again, JJ, that was a great demonstration. Thank you so much. You were spot on. Your camera system had us right there. I mean, I was able to see everything, and I knew what I was looking for. And I'm not going to make them. I'm not going to make them like this. I don't think anymore.
No more French fits.
So, man, thank you so much. It was a great demo. Thanks. Everybody have a good evening. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Al.
I'm sorry to waste your time.
No, never a waste. Don't be like that.
All right. Everybody have a good night.
Thanks,
You
Al.
too, Albert.
All right, Matt, it's on you now.
Yep. Next up is Ruby. Yep.
Okay, this was a maple bowl that I made. Just give you an idea of the shape. And then I painted the inside.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
That is beautiful.
Wow.
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 She very
Nice
delicious.
job.
Yeah.
Well, you're quite.
Apples or tomatoes?
No, those are apples.
Oh, yes, there's the pears and the grapes. Yes.
That should be in the Louvre.
This is a fruit bowl.
It's really pretty.
That is
gorgeous.
How long did it take you to do that, Ruby?
The painting took about a week.
Beautiful.
That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ruby.
Very, very nice, Ruby. Thank you.
I'm listening.
Ruby, that is absolutely stunning. I absolutely love that. But I have to ask you the question, why didn't you paint the outside? What a beautiful picture.
Well, you know what, Martin, you're absolutely right. And I kicked myself after I finished it.
Stunning. That is absolutely stunning. And if you'd have just turned it over and done the outside.
But the fruit would have fallen off the outside.
There's,
Oh, you're-
there's
Martin's
nothing keeping.
absolutely right. It's useless to use as a fruit bowl, even though I put a coat of some lacquer over it. But I agree. After I had finished it, that same thought went through my mind. I
That
should have done the outside. But then on the outside, if it's sitting on a table like this, it's not really that visible.
it would get my eye. It would get my eye. That is really, really pretty. And the problem is as a ball, whether it be a fruit ball, a change ball, whatever else it is, I wouldn't want to use it. And it's not flat enough to put up on anywhere. Because
Well, actually, it does sit on a stand in about this position.
yeah,
Um,
then it would be nice, but it would take a lot of room up like that. You see, if it could have just been the outside of that ball up onto a shelf, stunning, absolutely stunning.
all right.
It'd hang on a wall with the right fixture, Martin.
No,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, Ruby, can I ask you a question? Okay,
Sure.
when you were drawing the picture, okay, what was the top and what was the bottom? Because you spun it 2 or 3 times when you showed it. So when you were drawing, so what was the top? What was the bottom as you were making it? Were the pears and the apples on the bottom, and then you went up along the left and along the right side? How did you do that? Did
I
you
just-
start in the middle?
I started in the middle and just went around putting the fruit, penciled them in, and then took out the paints and painted them. See, it was the painting that got me into turning, because all the walls in my home have canvases all over, and I didn't have any more wall space, so I started turning in order to have something else to paint on. So like the picture up there is one I painted,
Right.
and the roses and the calligraphy were a piece that I did here. So, and you can see way over there the puppy on the little bowl there.
You're incredible, Ruby. Absolutely.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice, Ruby.
And
Thank
thanks
you,
for
Ruby.
all the kind compliments, everyone.
I mean, that's really pretty. Wow.
Yeah, hey, you could always sand it back on the outside and add more if you really wanted to.
I don't think so, Matt.
Well, not if it's going to be
Well,
a wall. Not if it's
talk
gonna be
to
a
Martin
wall.
and get him to make you an offer.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the
on-
funny part was I did find a sticker on the back here that said $85.
And that's Canadian, right?
Well, of course.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Ruby, $85. I'll take that.
Yeah, that's why she took the sticker off.
You put your name on it, it'd be worth a little.
It's lovely, lovely, Ruby.
Thank you.
My instant thought was, I really do like the painting. It's just inside out.
Yeah, I agree totally, Martin. Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter how good a wood turner you are or anybody else is. There ain't no way you're turning that inside out.
I don't know. The way my washer and dryer go, they can take shirts and turn them completely inside out. So I should maybe try that.
Get it on video.
Anyway, let's go on to someone else, please.
Yes.
Next up is Billy.
Oh my gosh, I have to follow that.
Yes, you do.
I hope you're good with the
Well,
paper, Billy.
You're gonna give me a complex, guys.
My granddaughter is my artist. I can't paint like that, and I wouldn't even begin to try. But she does. I got a couple of things. This one you see in the newsletter. This is a piece of catalpa.
Yep.
Live edge. You can see the chatoyance in it, I believe.
Gorgeous.
I love turning catalpa for that reason. Nice
And
to done.
it thank you. It's very weird.
I was hoping that I would get this more centered, but I concentrated on making sure that these points and these points were the same height.
Yeah.
So that's the way I got it centered on the lathe, to make sure that I kept these as centered as possible. So in doing so, I lost a little bit of the cathedral in one end of it, but I still like it. I'm very happy with it. Got some decorative rings in the bottom and my logo burnt in. Scott sent me this piece of catalpa as a surprise, along with that jig I ordered from him. I've never turned any catalpa before, and it's weird. And I say weird, it's smooth. This is like, I mean, I sanded it to 600 and it's just gorgeously smooth. But it has catalpa has a feel unlike any wood I've ever touched. Even though it's really smooth, it has a very tactile feel still.
Yeah.
Almost fuzzy, but it's not. I mean, it is, but it's not. It's weird. It's just weird.
It reminds me of touching velvet.
Yes.
Yeah, and when you started talking about it, fuzzy was the word I was in my head about it too. So that's exactly how I would put it.
And it's I mean, it's nice and smooth and shiny. This is I don't remember what finish I used on it now. Yeah, I do. Howard Feed and Wax. It's got 2 coats of Axe First Step on it, which is tung oil and beeswax. And then I wanted it to stay natural, so I used Howard Feed and Wax. But I love it.
Came out great, Billy.
Great looking piece of wood.
Thank you. And when I was at
Well, spit it out.
When I was at Rockler a couple weekends ago, they have this box by the pound, right? So I picked up this piece of basically it was a piece of a cookie of Wingate, and I thought, you know, that would make a really pretty little in-grain bowl or dish. Well, it was about 7 inches across, and there was some there was some sapwood on one side, and it was all cracked and missing and ragged on the other. And I thought, all right, well, this will make a really pretty bowl. Well, this thing fought me, and it fought me, and it fought me. It's now 4 1/4 inches. And it is riddled with hairline cracks going all the way through that I never saw. I couldn't see them. You still can't see them. Every now and then I'll see one. There's one right in the very bottom. And I don't know, and the photo, it's just showing gloss. And this is just, the finish on this is just Axe abrasive paste followed by Axe polish and restoring paste. But you can almost see it here. There's a little dark spot right in the very center. I don't know what caused it. It's not a dimple. It's flat as it, I mean, it's as smooth as it can be. I don't know why that shows up to look like it does, but right in the center, I noticed a minute ago when I was looking at it, there's a hairline crack there, but this thing kept flying apart on me. I would lose a chunk, and I would lose a chunk just because it's riddled with cracks. So that was a waste of it weighs 4 ounces now, and it weighed over 3 pounds when I started.
Wow.
Yeah. One last thing is this one's not finished. I've started putting a finish on it today, but I'm making a little mushroom box. Natural edge. The lid is a natural edge. And this is sugar hackberry. Not finished on the inside yet, but to make it really look like a mushroom.
Wow.
It's got the gills. I burnt those on my laser, and then I followed the grain around with my pyrography tool, and then gently sanded away the gills that were burnt in the outside. I sprayed yellow throughout. I covered this with tape first, and I sprayed yellow all over the top. And then I also cut little dots out on my, I laid a piece of blue painter's tape on a thin board, and I cut the dots out on my laser and then stuck the dots to this before I sprayed it with tangerine.
Oh,
Nice.
And this is the
Very
box.
good.
It's 2 shades. It's hard to tell, but it's 2 shades of green, a dark green down here at the bottom and emerald green up here at the top. But before I shot it green, I sprayed it with yellow. The inside is really, really nice. It's all in grain. And I've got my logo burnt in the bottom of that too. But I got to finish it. It needs more coats of finish on it. I didn't put any sanding sealer on it, and that was my mistake. I should have had some sanding sealer on it, because this thing is just sucking the finish in like crazy. But I'll have it finished and ready for next week, maybe. The lid, I'll be able to talk in a minute. The fit on the lid is not up to my liking, but that's okay.
I saw that, honey.
It's not super tight, but it's not a French fit either. I mean, it doesn't rattle. So I got close. I just didn't get close enough. Anyway, that's it.
Very cool.
very nice,
Thanks,
Billy.
Billy.
Good stuff.
Very cool. That's very,
Very
pretty.
nice, Billy.
Thank you.
Well,
Just
guys,
gave me another idea to make for my grandson.
Next up is John.
You have to unmute.
we got you, John.
I unmuted.
There we go.
I have a friend who is a wood turner, or I mean a woodworker, wood cutter. I'll get him right in a minute. Cuts trees. And he was splitting some red oak for firewood. And he said, have I ever seen anything that looked like this? And that is a piece of red oak that was split open. And I said that I had not. So he gave me some. And I cut it. And it looks like this.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow.
Quite
OMIs.
different, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's quite unusual, and you can see the fibers. You can see fibers here that have come undone right in here.
Yep.
So anyway, I took a piece about that size and I made a little bowl out of it.
Ooh.
Oh, lovely.
Nice.
And there's the bowl.
Very nice, John.
I thought it would turn out very well.
That's
It
beautiful.
did.
Very nice, cool looking.
Yeah, it's got eyes for days.
Yeah.
You never know what you're
That's-
going to find when you're cutting firewood. But that's
That's
it.
Right.
very nice.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Next up is Bob. What you got, Bob?
Let's see if I can unmute. Yeah, I just wanted to show you what I got in the mail today. I got my cards. I needed some cards to hand out to different functions that I go to. And these came in today and they look great. These were from Vista Print. And $14.99, I think, for 100. And, you know, you get more cheaper by the dozen. You know, the more you get, the cheaper it is. But anyway, 100 of them will do me for a while. So anyway, I just needed some cards to hand out.
Vistaprint does a good job.
Yeah, they did. I thought I was happy with them, so that's great.
Very cool, Doug. Or Bob. Next
Whatever your
up
name
is
is.
Doug.
Okay. Well, whatever. I was wondering when you said that. Anyway, I've had a couple of demos. Had one Saturday that I had to go up to Dayton, Ohio to do, and one of the things I did was this nice little cherry bowl. Yeah, there it is. Lots of nice figure in there, even though it's small. Sorry, I meant to have this measured out. It's just under 3¼ inches wide and an inch and a half tall. I still have to take the foot off of it, but you know, that's an easy little thing to do to finish up. We just turned all that with the Easy Wood tools and finished it with Yorkshire grit and wax, and it came out really nice. Just a nice little, not a high shine, but a nice sheen to it. And then had another piece of wood, and for the life of me, I cannot remember what the wood is. Just a nice brown. I wanted to do kind of an oriental top box. So it's nicely hollowed out and finished out on the inside. The top, I still have to work on the inside of it. Did not have all of my stuff there, so I wasn't able to regrip that. I want to take this down just a little bit so it meets the box better. Again, it's like these other boxes we've been looking at tonight. It's not a pop fit, but it's not a French fit either. It just fits in there. It does not rattle around at all. So anyway, I thought that was a real nice grain for something that I just grabbed a stick of wood and took it with me, and I really didn't pay attention what it was. So I really have no clue what it is. And then yesterday, for my demo yesterday, wanted to do something more of a Halloween theme, and so I came up with this little girl. Just a little bit of fun, kind of on the same theme as the snowman, but change the hat, give her some black clothes and a plunging neckline, and it's a nice little witch there, and of course a nice witch has to have her cauldron as well. So
Now you need to make a broom to go with it.
We talked about that, Ruby. Now, come on. This is a modern witch. She drives a car. But anyway, a witch with her cauldron, and just a fun time yesterday. Just a fun time yesterday.
I have friends with bumper stickers on their cars that say my other transport is a broom. So
there you go.
Well, I was hoping Doug was going to turn me a new one in time for me to put lights and stuff on it.
There you go. You may have seen it on Facebook that I was missing a box and a ball, and this was the box and bowl that I was missing. And when I found it, it was down. 2 of the 3 pieces were in the floor right beside my trash can. The 3rd piece was in the trash can. So I was fortunate to find all 3 pieces. So now I can get them finished up and put away. So anyway, thank you.
So how'd they get there, Doug? Did you knock them off of something?
I must have. When I brought stuff in from Saturday, when I unloaded the car, I brought those in so I could finish them up, and I set them here on the end of the lathe, and my trash can's right under. I must have knocked them off when I was putting something else up here.
That's a hell of a filing system you got there.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad I don't lose too much.
It's probably the cat snake.
We all
are. All right. Well, next up is Bill. Let's see what you got, Bill.
Good evening, all. My wife gives me a hard time about, for years I made tables and such, all sorts of rectangular things. And so then I got the lathe. So in her view, it was to make round things, but you know, sometimes it still has to be square. So this is a little piece of maple, ambrosia maple. And so it's about 5.5 inches square by about 2.5, 3 inches deep. Little lip on it for accent. Insert on the bottom. You can see a little bit from the ambrosia, the bugs getting at it in the base.
Very nice, Bill.
Yeah. And it's like one poly is the finish. Many, many, many coats.
To be square.
Thank you. I'm sorry, what was that?
It's hip to be square.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
Yeah, good job,
Thank you.
Mr. Luce.
Thank you.
Good job, Bill.
All right, so because my list is exhausted, I'm going to go to me. I have been busy, but oh, I got somebody show up. We'll go to you, Chris. Hang on a second. Chris. Go ahead, Chris. Ho.
You're muted, Chris.
Muted, Chris.
Fast, more better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, I wasn't quite ready for you. But we have a bowl of bowls. And these all came from the same log, but what I was really looking for was the bottom of the bowl. That was all one piece, but anyway, we got what I call the holy bowl with very wild grain. And which way am I going here?
That grain is
Couple
wicked.
holes there, couple holes there, but on the inside you can see where the branches were. And I will admit I'm still struggling with the shellac finish. I got a little tear out I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of, and I refuse to seal or fill that with anything. I'm letting nature take its course on that. And a
Very
little bit
nice,
of
Chris.
Yeah, beautiful. That the grain in that thing is amazing.
it's the whole tree was given to me like this, and I've never seen maple where this is the predominant color on all the pieces. It's just wild. But
What kind of
That's
maple
what
is it?
the tall kind. I don't know what kind of maple. It's not Norwegian maple, I know that much, and it's not a sugar maple. It's some other maple. The
Red
after they
maple?
picture this just said maple.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, we got like,
Cool.
I mean, we also have like, could be silver, could be.
Yeah, I was thinking
Uh,
silver maple.
Not a silver
Yeah.
maple. I know we have a couple of those in my neighborhood. Not one of those.
There is over 100 different types of.
Oh yeah, it's like oak.
Brown
Like
maple,
oak.
red maple. That's my guess.
All of this maple has this. The predominant color is that gray.
Huh.
But
Looks like
Kinda like-
swamp maple.
My silver maple
No,
turned
it-
that color
I will
without
say
the bark on.
the tree was growing down about 200 yards off of Niantic Bay, which is right off the Atlantic Ocean. So it's a
So
lot of stuff in the water, in the sand.
Yeah.
So it could easily be salts or other minerals. So
Yeah, silica, I think.
very cool.
Turns like a dream. It's soft, it's not hard maple.
Yeah. Well, the only real hard maple among those ones we've listed so far is sugar maple. So,
Yeah.
because the others are a lot softer. So,
That's
yeah.
another piece from the same hunk of log.
That's beautiful.
Very nice. Very nice. What's your finish, Leonard or Chris?
This is just a friction polish on this one. Mylands, I
Cool.
think.
Came out lovely.
Kind of like it. Thank you. That's
All
all,
right.
folks.
Well, thank you, Chris. Next up is Leonard. What you got, Leonard?
Okay, so I wanted to try the marbling that we saw a month and a half, 2 months ago. So I was working on some other projects as well. So I decided I was going to turn a small vase. And I only marbled the lower half. I kind of some of the lines came out really close together. Some of them are further apart. I haven't cut it down yet, but got a test tube to go with it. So I got to cut that one down because I don't have any short ones.
That's nice, Leonard.
It looks
It's-
great, Leonard.
Yeah, very well done.
Piece of elm from a tree that came down a couple of years ago. The biggest problem I had is I put a cone in here to steady it. And when I did, I actually split it. It had to go back because there's a couple of spots. If you get close enough, you can see a split in there. A couple of them.
Yeah.
Had to go back
Too much.
and re-glue them. but
You
Too
added
much,
some
too much
character.
tailspot pressure.
yes, yeah, exactly. So, but other than that, came up pretty good. The bottom.
Battlestar.
I actually used spray poly because I was making some custom trim and had to spray poly that. So just kind of did it all at once.
There you go.
Nice.
Very nice.
Charge it to the client.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Very cool. All right. So I've been doing more of these spin tops, and I don't remember which ones of these that I showed last week, but this is the glitter spin tops. So, and they, zip down here and you spin them and they, the glitter really glitters. So it's pretty cool. Looks a lot cooler in person. But it's very simple. I just use, got a little too crazy there with the camera. I just use Titebond Quick and Thick, which dries clear, and you just put it on the surface here and paint it off, and then you sprinkle the glitter on there. And I did it in a big box, so I didn't get glitter everywhere, but I still got glitter everywhere. But it is the nature of glitter. So, and I've begun doing some snowmen. So I had some fresh wood that I found, which I think is Bradford pear, and some walnut, which came. So, and what I do is I hold it on a tenon on this side here, so that I can dimple the bottom, the part that sits on the ground, and then you can't see how badly this is finished. And then I hold these here with a tenon, so I can finish and do stuff on the front, like put spirals on them. On the top of the hat. So when I put them together, I don't even have to worry about sanding or getting them too crazy because it's hidden where I was holding the pieces with. So, and I've changed my design a little bit. I've made the hats a little taller and the body's a little squattier, and we'll see how they if they sell any better. So yeah, Bob, that's glitter. Glitter gets everywhere, but it's fun. And I have a lot of it. So don't tell too many people.
Great job, Matt.
Thank you. All right, that's all I've got on my list. So if there's anybody else with anything to show us, please let us know in chat that you have something for gallery. Yeah, the whole snowman design, Ray, is if you try to get too technical about the snowmen, they don't sell as well. But if you make them cartoony, then they do seem to sell better. People like them weird. So, I mean, I've done a lot of different designs and got kind of crazy. So, but yeah, there's whole snowman design theory out there too, right, Doug?
Yeah, and I was just going to agree with you. I've made some with really oversized hats, really tall, and those seem to sell quicker than anything else. They don't have to be. We talked a little bit. We've been talking a little bit about the head and the hat matching up and those kinds of things. But like Matt said, most of the time, the more cartoony they are, the quicker they're going to sell.
Yeah. Hey, guys, another thing. Now you guys, I don't sell anything, but what I found, if you make, okay, we're gonna say the same thing. Let's say 4 inches or so high. If you make just the head and the hat, just that alone, and we'll say 2.5 inches wide, people just like fall in love with just the head and the hat.
Yes.
Instead of the whole body. If you could think about that for a second. My friends loved that last year.
That's a great idea. And I mean, you guys know that I've made a lot of different kinds of snowmen.
Yep.
And so you're talking about just like the head and the hat, right? Oh. So like this much. Right? And then do you put them put them on a and I mean, you put them on the table or how do you hang them from something? What do you do from there?
No, I mean, it was just it was solid piece of wood and a head and a hat, just like the way you had your hand around the neck part of it.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a lot of my friends loved that last year. That might be something you guys like to look at.
Yeah,
a
I like
different
to see
kind
them.
of
Right on.
different kind of a
It's-
snowman, you know?
Yeah, it can't hurt to have variety and to see what, people's ideas. It all adds to the experience, right?
I
So,
agree.
Yep.
All
All
right,
right, well,
sounds
Doug,
good.
that's all or Dane, that's all I've got. So why don't I switch
Okay.
it back to you?
All right, that'll work. Randy
or you.
Smith has an item that he wants to cursory talk about here. So let me spin over here to Randy Smith and see what he's got going on. All right, Randy.
Well, Woodcraft every year near Veterans Day has a Turn for the Troops event, and it's a company-wide event, and almost all the Woodcraft stores participate in it. It's a public event. Basically, what we do is we go in and we help the public to come in and turn a pen for the troops. These are slimline pens. Usually the store does the tubes and bushings before you get there, and all the people at the event have to do is turn the pens. We have had Boy Scout troops, Cub Scout troops, even what do you call a Girl Scout troop for the Cubs? We have got Girl
Brownies.
Scout troops, the Brownies. They come in. We had a 5-year-old girl one time come in and turn a pen.
Oh, wow.
And she was so proud of that.
I bet.
And that usually happens around Veterans Day. So if you have a local woodcraft store, contact them, find out what they're doing as part of that event. Go out and help out with them. Act as a mentor. This is open to the public. Anybody can come in and make a pen. And in a lot of cases, it's their first exposure to wood turning. So try to get them involved.
Right. So the title says Turn for Troops. So do they send off the pins to different military organizations, installations?
Yes, that's correct.
They got, same as we do with our pen program.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And
Right on.
this is usually this year the local one here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is on November 9th and 10th. And it's from essentially open to close.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll have to call the store owner up and here at my local Woodcraft here in Tucson. I've never seen it in our local flyer that I get. But
for
yeah,
some reason they don't
that'd be a
publish it.
worthy. Yeah, it's weird that they don't, 'cause they definitely keep it up to date, for their classes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and it's a monthly newsletter. At least I get mine monthly. So, but yeah, it sounds like a good program, Randy. Thanks for bringing that to light.
Okay.
Very
Take care,
cool.
everybody.
All right. That'll work. Thank you, sir. All right. We're at the top of the hour. Our safety coordinator, Safety Sue, is not with us tonight. She is busy watching the news and waiting for the tropical storm to come in. That's kind of a joke, but she's not expecting it to be a major hurricane. So she's just watching the news and taking things easy right now. Otherwise, she would be with us. She has been in contact with me this evening for a couple different times already. She's doing good. Just got high winds. So hopefully everybody is doing well there. And so with that, we're going to go to Mr. Tim Hatch. He is going to be doing our demonstration for the evening. Tim, I am going to mute everybody here in a second. Quick housekeeping. Everybody, if you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to put your questions in the chat. I will answer them as time sees fit, based on Tim doing a tool changeover or something like that while he's demonstrating. And then other than that, unless Tim wants to solicit participation from the group, that would be up to Tim to ask for questions or comments from the folks. Otherwise, we'll get everything cleaned up at the end of the demonstration. So with that, I am going to mute everybody. Tim, you will need to unmute yourself.
Hi, good evening. Can everybody hear?
Just got everybody muted. So unmute yourself, Tim.
How about
There
there?
you go.
All right.
Gotcha.
So, we've got a boatload of good demonstrations on. I think there's well over 200 demos, you know, within the webpage there. I was browsing through things earlier, and I didn't really see a whole lot of things where we have like two-sided bases and things like that. Earlier, just a little bit ago, we saw a smaller vase, and the gentleman was putting a test tube in it. And what I made was a small vase, and this one is actually hollow on the inside. I know it's kind of hard to see in there, but it's hollow on the inside. And the concept of that was to make a double turned vase, basically. Okay, and I got the idea when I first started learning how to turn by myself. My wife said, "Hey, dummy, why don't you read a book?" So she went out and she got me this book, Weekend Wood Turning Projects. And inside the book itself, about page 123, it has a two-part vase. Obviously, mine doesn't look anything as good as that. I've been out of the shop for a while, so things are not quite, you know, quite going in my favor. I've been out of the shop for about 6 months. So, but I turned this last night, and you know, I spent a lot of money this past year buying a bunch of high-speed tools. I got the Trent Bosch friggin' hollowing system. I've got the elbow tool here up on the workbench, and I'll show you guys some of that stuff. But to make this, I was trying to think of a project that we can all do with basic tools. So, you know, that's really what the concept of this was. So, some of the basic tools, way back in the day when I first started learning how to turn wood, Eddie Castleman talked about hollowing on the cheek. And I put a link to that in the chat earlier. And it's where you just make tools and take a little piece of high-speed steel from a set from like Harbor Freight, or you know, some of the other you can buy all these little bits, right? It's like a 6-pack of different bits. And in fact, that's what my thin parting tool is made out of. And then, you know, then of course you had carbide cutters where you could, you know, make your own carbide cutter. And of course, being the cheap guy, I didn't buy it from Eddie, unfortunately. I bought it from some other place. And then later on, the wife blessed me with a, you know, swan neck hollower from Rockler. And I'll tell you what, honestly, I haven't used this damn thing a whole lot. Pardon the French there. What I've mostly hollowed with is that. That's that ball end tool that Matt Harbor showed us how to make it a long time ago. And of course, I put a link for Dean Grimes' video on how he made his own custom hollowing tool. So that's what I'm going to be hollowing with tonight to make this vase. And I'll walk you guys step by step through the process on how I did it. The finish on here is nothing more than Howard's feed and wax. That's all it is. So it's got a little sanding sealer on it, and then a little Howard's feed and wax on there. So give me about a minute to clean some things off. I'll switch cameras around, and then we'll get started. If there's
all right, sounds good, Tim.
Okay.
At the moment, there's no questions, but if there's a question in the group right now, speak now, forever hold your peace. All right, camera looks good.
All right.
Your microphone's fading in and out though, Tim.
Yeah, well, probably because I'm wandering around, not talking.
Oh, okay, right on it. That explains it.
Oh, hang on 1 second. Let me throw some stuff, put some stuff away, because I pulled out a bunch of stuff that doesn't belong out. I'm working in a really limited workshop, little 1-car garage, and I've got 4-car garage worth of tools in here. 1 second. My apologies, just gotta make some room for stuff.
It
No,
sounds
you're
a
all
lot
good.
like my shop. Tools I'm gonna need. And all right. So before I even put the old Trent air shield on, Dana and I checked that earlier today. It works real well. So anybody that has a Trent air shield that wants to do a demo with one of these little leveler mics, it works real well. So
Yep.
okay, so what I've got is I've got the Jim Duxbury marking gauge here, and all I did was literally found center on my board on my piece of timber here on both sides. Then I marked it, and then I put it on the lathe, and I turned tenon on it on both ends. And you know, just because of the amount of time that this may take me, I went ahead and did up the tenon earlier. So all I did was I turned it around, I put a tenon on both ends. And so I have a tenon on this end and I have a tenon in the chuck. Before I do that, though, I wanted to explain one thing. Taking the chuck on and off all the time is a bit of a pain in the rump. If you take your spur center, readjust my light here. Take your spur center, you can actually put your spur center in the chuck, that Morse 2 taper in the chuck, and it protrudes just enough and it will hold it. And it'll spin true. And that'll save you a little bit of time for your production. So that's what I did when setting this thing up. The other thing that I like doing when I'm using the spur drive is I use that not the cone center, but the regular live center, the one that probably came with your lathe way back in the day. All right, so put this back in the chuck here. Come on, fingers work. There we go. And before I tighten up the chuck 100%, we're going to bring up the center tailstock support just to make sure everything's centered the way it was. I'm going to go ahead and crank it down. All right, so that starts out that portion. 1 second. Next thing I do, after I've put the tenon on both ends, I want to go ahead and measure the block of wood and figure out how big it is. So the area that I'm looking to turn is going to be 6 inches. So going with that, you know, that nice little, I don't have one of those calipers that breaks off that golden mean and everything. So I took my 6 inches and I said, okay, well, what's 2/3 of 6 is 4. So I marked the ends. There's one end. There's my other end. And then I measured over 4 inches. And that's where my mark is for that 2/3 for the top of the base. So that's actually where I'm going to split it. And I'm going to make 2 separate pieces, hollow those 2 separate pieces out and put it back together. So the next thing I have to do is I've got to turn it down, get that desired shape that I want, whatever that shape may be. Move some stuff off the lathe bed here so it doesn't fall on the floor. All right. So. Little face shield on. And Dane, are we still good? I don't have a bunch of feedback from the air shield.
You sound good. You sound good. You sound great. There's no feedback.
All right, thank you. All right, so the
You
next
bet.
thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out the shape I want. Eddie came up with a great idea earlier about draw out your stuff. Don't just have a picture in your head, but actually draw out the shape you want. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. So the shape I'm looking for is gonna be probably something like, I want to have a little bit of a valley here, probably a lot steeper. And then I want to kind of bring the shape down and then have some type of a foot on it. Kind of like that shape that I showed you earlier. So in my head, that's what I'm turning. We'll see if it works out that way. Turning speed right around about 1200. Using a bowl gouge, and all I'm doing is just taking down a little bit of material here. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I'm getting a little bit of vibration on this, so I want to double check my chuck to make sure it's tight. And it could be that I just don't have enough pressure on my tailstock. That's where the vibration's coming from. Pick up that cut again. That's about right. Now on this is going to be my foot, so I want to come in just a little bit. Probably right about there.
Looking good, Tim.
All right, thank you. And back this off just a little bit. How's your camera view, Dane?
Oh, it's perfect.
Thank you. And just a little bit more, I'm gonna refine that pitch this time. All right, so kind of almost have our basic shape of the vase. It's not too terrible. I still got a little bit of a high spot here. I want to keep it that way for right now. This is just kind of just roughing it out. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and part this off. Now I'm going to separate the two halves, and then we'll move over to the next step. So what I have, I bought a bunch of that little cheap $5 steel packet from Harbor Freight way back in the day, and I made this thin parting tool when I first started doing wood turning. Okay, and this one is high-speed steel, 1/16 by half by 4.5 inches long. So it has about a 15-degree bevel cutting this way and cutting that way. So most of the scarf is going to come off and give me a nice clean cut. So when I do this, I'm going to start presenting the tool right on the line here, and I'm going to just kind of push the tool all the way in, not all the way through. I probably won't cut it all the way through. I'll probably stop, and then I'll pull out the saw and I'll separate the two halves. Okay.
Sounds good.
Speed down a little bit. It's getting jerky. Don't want it to be jerky. All right, before I screw up and completely part this thing off, which I was getting ready to do, I need to make a line. And the line basically going across, just a witness mark is all it is. So I like to do one witness mark there, and you probably see that line better now.
Yes.
The
Yep,
reflection.
you can see it.
And then I'm going to do two witness marks down here. And the purpose of that is just so I can line things up a little bit and get a better grain match. You don't have to do it that way. It's just the way I do things. All right, so we are
Close.
close.
Hacksaw time.
Pull out a different light out of my pocket here. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and stop there, and I'll just use the saw. So the saw I got is just this little, it's a Irwin, I think I got that thing at, little flexible saw. I think I got it at Lowe's. There we go. All right, so not too bad of a cut. That'll be easy enough to clean up, and every time I use a saw, just so I don't gouge myself, I put the original guard back on it, hang it up, that way I don't ever get cut by it. Lesson learned, I got cut by it before. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and face this little jagged part right here. I'm gonna face that off, make it even with the rest of, or as close to even with the rest of it. Not necessary, however, it's just, again, the way I like to do things. So spindle gouge real quick. Got the pressure going towards the chuck, so I'm not potentially flipping the piece out. I don't need to make it perfectly level or anything. In fact, that center point there, I want to get rid of that. I use my skew for that. And I'm just gonna give myself a registration mark there for my drill bit. So I got a couple options. What I want to do is to join this together. I'm going to do kind of like what JJ did with the box. In the book, it tells you to cut a tenon and then put a mortise on the other piece and join it. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do, except I'm going to put the tenon on this piece and put the mortise on the other piece. I'm going to take my Bedan and I'm just going to go down just a little bit. When I do this, I want about 3/8 inch wall thickness on the whole thing. That's just my target. 1 second, let me sharpen my pencil real quick. So I'm going to go in about that deep. Maybe. Let's not go that deep. I'll do it by eye and then we'll figure it out from there. All right, so taking my Bedan, make sure I'm a little above center. Again, before I start anything, I'm putting pressure on the outside. I want to double check my chuck. Just always double check, make sure it's not coming loose. Nothing vibrated. One second. I don't like the way the banjo is sitting. Gonna hit my tool. All right. Try this again. So I don't want it super thick. I'm probably only going to go about maybe 1/8 of an inch. Now I'm going to raise the handle of my tool until I get to that line. Now I'm pretty close to that line. It looks pretty good to me. I'll go maybe just a little bit more. I like the Bedan because it gives you a nice square shoulder, as long as you don't try to taper the edge and the corners and everything. So going with the Bedan real quick for those that aren't familiar with this tool. has one tapered edge, one flat edge, and to sharpen it, go along the taper. And then make sure you go on the side, parallel with the side. Same thing with the other side. And you can also do that on the back. That'll give you that nice, super sharp cutting edge, and everything remains square. So, all right. So right now I have my tenon right there. It's a small tenon, and it's gonna hold on to that top cup when I cut this. Get that aside. Yeah. So the next thing I have is I have a 3/4 inch drill into a Jacob's chuck right now. Okay. I'm going to take and I'm going to measure how deep I want this vase to be. Now you can mark your drill bit, or you could add a piece of tape to it, however you want to do it. I like to go ahead and mark my drill bit just so I have a reference. It'll wipe off. It's just needs some alcohol to wipe it off. Not a big deal. My banjo out of the way, make sure that my Jacob's chuck is locked in. Find my center point. Lock down my tailstock, and I'm going to turn about 350, 400, somewhere around there. I'm just going to drill in nice and slow. I got one hand on the Jacob's chuck. Back it off. Clean out the scarf. My air compressor is not in the shop right now. I'm building a chicken coop, so 3/4 of my tools are not where they belong. Start hearing that squeal, means we're getting hot and we're getting tight. So clean out the scarf. And there we go. We're at depth right now. Right. So like Matt Harbor talked to us about this ball end mill tool. And I tell you, when I first joined the group way back when, I think this thing Matt had just demonstrated. I know Dean Grimes had demonstrated on his channel. And again, I put the link in for Dean's channel there in the chat earlier. Somebody wants to go back and look at the way Dean did it. We also have it on our website. So this tool is basically nothing more than 3/4 inch rod. This one's about overall.
Hold it up closer to your tool rest. There you go.
All right. It's about 10 inches long, 3/4 inch rod. On the end, I drilled a hole. Actually just put the rod into my lathe and then drilled a hole into it. And put that 3/8 inch ball end mill. And then of course, tapped it. And when I did, I screwed up, but that's all right. Re-drill and re-tap and you'll be okay. It's not a big deal. But this is a double ball end mill. So there's whatever you see up on top here, the same thing's on the bottom, and Matt explains that pretty good in a couple of videos. Again, you just look online on our website and you'll see it. So
yeah, I did put our video, a link to our video in the chat at some point, right after you introduced the tool. So it's in here also.
Yeah, so I put Dean Grimes' video in the chat earlier, but we have the same type of video that Matt Harper did on our website. So if anybody wants to know how to make the tool, it's a cheap, easy tool. And the reason I'm doing this, I want to get back to the basics, because we got a lot of new folks that may not have all the tools that Dane and I and everybody else has acquired over the years. So, all right, let me show you how quick and easy this tool works. And turn speed right now, I'm right at 900, well, 1,000. I'm gonna turn till I have, about the same distance on the end here, okay? What I'm talking about, same distance. So whatever my wall thickness here, I want the same wall thickness there. So overall, that's pretty close to. Yeah, I'm sitting at 3/8 right there, which is my target. That's my target thickness that I was looking for in this particular face.
Tim, your
Again,
cutting Tim, your cutting
again, sir?
profile, you're presenting your cutter at about what, on center, just above center?
So it's just at center or just above center, and then I'm pulling it across. So what I'm actually cutting with is this lower portion right here. If you
Very
push
good.
it the other way, if you're turning in reverse, which you can do, one of Captain Eddie's videos was saying, hey, if you're, you can't see what you're doing by, struggling this way, turn in the opposite direction. If you can turn in reverse, you can use this cutter in reverse, and it works beautiful. I'm not going to turn in reverse because I don't have my set screw in on my chuck, but yeah, you can turn in reverse, and then you can see everything that you're hollowing, and that works out really well. But so what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting. Don't pull too hard. Let the tool do the work. Now what you're trying to do is mimic the profile that you have on the outside, on the inside. Now, Matt, on our website, Matt explains that this tool will work as a drill too. So if you're not careful with it, you can drill in where you don't want to be. Let's stop that for a second so you can see just, that's pretty good clean cut. I know this tool's probably due to be flipped around, but I still got another another 2 inches or so I got to cut. So because I'm getting over the edge of the tool, I'm just going to move my tool rest forward a little bit and continue on. about another half inch maybe. So one of the nice things about this being made out of 3/4 inch bar, and if you have a longer handle like Matt has on his, you get more leverage and you go out over the tool rest quite a bit further. Right now we're at depth. Wall thickness is a little thick to my liking, so I'm going to thin that out just a little bit. But we're almost ready to go on to step 2. Put down there at the bottom still. All right, so that's pretty much hollowed out. Set our tools on the lathe. Now, if you wanted to, you could sand the inside. I don't sand the inside of stuff like this because, well, really no need, you know. Nobody's gonna really stick their finger in there unless it's another wood turner. Smooth it out. If you are sanding on the inside, then I recommend you get a sanding stick. Don't put your fingers in there. You'll break your fingers off. You end up getting caught up and hung up on it. So, you know, take a stick, put your sandpaper on the stick, and then there you go. Oh, good to go.
Sounds
Any
good.
questions so far?
Nothing in chat.
All right. So the next part is we already have our tenon on. The other side, we're gonna go ahead and put that in loosely. Now I'm gonna switch over to cone center. I'll show you why in just a minute, but primarily is once I drill this thing out, I'm gonna need the cone center. So pretty much centered up, like my tailstock down. I'm gonna go ahead and double check to make sure it's running true, which it is. Okay. So we have a tenon on this side, so this side's gonna need a mortise. Before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and drill this thing out. So I'm gonna do the same procedure I did before. Gonna go ahead and kind of face this off a little bit. Just in the center. I'm not worried about the rest of it. The rest of it's gonna get hollowed out. I'll take my skew and I'm gonna give myself that reference point in the center. I'll switch back to my drill bit again. And on this, it really doesn't matter because I'm drilling all the way through. There's my center point, my reference. Again, speed about 350, 400. Clean off my scarf. My air compressor was here. I just used it and blow on the drill bit itself. And there we go. We're through. Now, the reason I drill a hole all the way through, not only give me a reference point for my ball end tool, but also it punches through all the way and it gives me a reference point for the 60 degree live center. So I drilled all the way through. Now I just bring my tool rest back over. My tailstock out the way. And go at it again. I'm a little high. Let me drop that down. And then pull it back just a little. The reason I'm pulling it back is I've got this drop off here between the 3/8 and the 3/4 inch. There's a big drop off. You know, you don't want to get hung up on that. So that's the reason I'm pulling back. Now, I almost forgot a part here. What's the part that I almost forgot? Anybody?
I'm sorry, say again,
Mark
Tim?
your mortise. There you go. I forgot to do the mortise, right? So we always want to double check ourselves and make sure that, hey, before we get too far ahead, and we're not. You know, I caught myself at that. So I took and I measured with my caliper, you know, roughly what my mortise is. I want it to be a little bit tighter. So I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit. And I'm going to give myself a reference point using my tool rest for my caliper to sit up there and go, okay, well, that's pretty much where my mortise is going to be. That makes sense? So you see where that drop off is. That's probably pretty close to where I'm going to cut my mortise. So do that. And find my tool, that'd be great. Be just like JJ. I'm gonna take my Bedan on this. Make sure I'm on center or just above. Now, the other option you have besides maybe the Bedan might be your parting tool. Works real well too. In fact, it works better. And you can hollow with any type of tool, guys. Like I said, I like the Bedan because it gives me a nice flat reference. We're going to see if our mortise fits. It does not fit yet. So we'll continue on. Again, trial and error, just check for a fit. We're not quite there, almost. I bumped the camera with my field. Were you still good on the picture, Dane?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Nothing like simulating turning on a boat.
All right, now I want a nice sharp edge. There we go. Let's see if we're able to fit this time. That was what, try number 3? Something like that. And here we're off just a little bit.
Just off by a horseshoe, right?
Yeah. Pull the pin on that horseshoe.
Uh-huh.
All right. Hopefully I didn't go over, and I did, just a smidge, but that's all right. Now you'll notice that on this lineup, the top has got a little bit of a lip over the top of the bottom there. But you'll also notice that the grain matches pretty doggone close. Okay.
Yep.
So that's all fixable. That's why we left that little extra thickness on the wall. You'll also notice that I have that center point, but when I bring up the tailstock, when I glue this thing back together, so we're good to go there. All right. There's my wall thickness basically for the top. Again, I want to leave it a little thicker. I want to leave a lip. So the lip I want to leave is going to be about this. You can see how it steps down from here to the bottom of the mortise. We don't want to cut that away. We want to give a ledge for the tenon to sit up against when we glue it all together. So make sure you don't cut out that lip when you're hollowing. How we doing on time, Dane?
Oh, you're doing perfect. You're good. You got lots of time.
Remember,
No
you're
need to
trying to
hurry at
mirror.
all.
You're trying to mirror whatever the outside shape is. That's what you're trying to mirror on the inside. I'm getting close to the inside jaw of the truck there. So I want to leave that there for some stability and support. I don't want to go too deep, so I'll catch it from the other side. All right, so let me turn the speed up on this, clear that dust out. All right, so like Matt was saying, he likes to use the Titebond Quick and Thick. It dries clear. It's a really good glue. If you guys ever watch any of Earl's Small Segment Shop, he's the one that turned me on to this while watching some of his videos. Literally, as he was putting the segments in on a bowl, by the time he got to the far end, put some pressure on it for a little bit, he was ready to start turning again. So it's a really good glue. I really like it for a lot of the interior stuff. I don't use it on anything that's going to go outside. If you want, you can sand this, spend your time sanding up the inside. Again, that's a little rough. I'd probably take a scraper to that. I'm not going to do it tonight, but typically I'd take a scraper to that, clean that up a little bit because that is a little bit rough. But next thing we're going to do, we're just going to apply some of this Quick and Thick on here. You don't have to be as quick and thick as I'm doing right here, that's for sure. A little bit goes a long way.
You're just
So
making
not
sure
only
you
do I-
got good coverage.
Yep. Not only do I want to get the pin in there, but I also want to get where the mortise is going to link and that shoulder is going to link up. Okay, we'll drop it on the floor just to see if it holds together. That's what I do in my shop. Well, if all that extra sawdust and garbage that fell in there, it'll affect your joint. All right, so I have my witness marks. I got a single mark and I have a double mark. There's my double. There's my single mark. All I'm going to do is just line up these two witness marks, bring up my tailstock, and you could use the cone center for this. I'm going to hold off on the cone center. I'm going to go back to the other center because it spreads things out, a little better weight distribution. Doesn't push a hole in the bottom of the vase. And I'm just going to make sure my marks are lined up. Any last minute double check. My lines are all lined up. Everything's good to go. And we'll just give it a little tailstock support for a minute. We'll take a piece of paper towel here and rub off some of the excess. It's all going to get turned. Anyway, I'm going to smooth all that out in just a second, but just to give you an idea, let that stuff sit for a minute. I'm going to take a drink of water real quick and then we'll get back to turning.
Sounds good, Tim.
Any questions while we're doing any of this?
Anybody have any questions?
What's
Comments?
that boring bit? What is it?
It's called a double-ended ball end mill mitt. And Matt Harbor has put a link to one a little earlier here in the chat.
Yep, 3/8 inch by 3/8 inch, 2 flute.
Right there. I just posted
double-ended
it.
ball end mill.
I just posted the same link for it there.
Thanks, Dane.
You bet. I knew it was coming.
That's
You
why I'm
did.
doing it,
That's why we posted these.
right?
Well,
Yeah, one-
can they
one
be
of the
sharpened?
reasons
Yes, they
just,
can.
just
I don't know how to sharpen them, but frankly, the ones that I found, I mean, the one I posted was a quick search. The ones I bought were like $6 a piece, and they give me a couple of years worth of use. And I bought 3 or 4 of them at a time, and I'm like on my second one out of the 3 I bought like 5 years ago. So they're so inexpensive that you don't really need to work on them. But if you want to, you can sharpen them just like you sharpen any other drill bit, you know.
Yep.
Alright, so now I need to refine my shape a little bit. I think my foot's got too sharp of an edge here, so I'm gonna clean that up. I'm gonna probably do a little shear scrape on this. You know, try to get that a little more leveled and just refine my shape. You can see where it's sticking out just a little bit, so we definitely want to address that. You can use a spindle gouge, you can use a bowl gouge, you can use whatever you want, carbide, however you want to turn. This is a spindle, so I could be using a spindle gouge, but I really like my 5/8" bowl gouge. So again, that's just one of those current preferences. I haven't played with my detail gouge that I picked up at Squat yet, so I'm gonna see if I can get. And I'm getting mine that I don't want to be getting. Yeah, I need more practice with this one for sure. It's not nice. It's not nice either. All right. So you got a couple options here. You could use a scraper, you could use a skew. I'm gonna go ahead and use a skew on this. It's back just a hair, so I have some room to work. And you'll notice that my skew has kind of a rounded edge. Oh, by the way, it's a cheap Harbor Freight skew.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with them. They do not hold an edge for a very long time, but back on up, they work just fine. Eventually, some of these may go away, but that's what I got. Work with what you can afford. And my profile. Nice little whiskey cuts off there. So even that 30-old Harbor Freight steel will do it for you. All right. So what's one thing that we notice right now? Besides I get a little tear out and need to refine that a little bit more. But what's the one thing that you can notice? Right here, I have that seam, right?
Yep.
So we have to make a decision what we want to do with that seam. Do we want to embellish it, use it, or maybe put something in it? We could do a couple different things. We could wire burn in
embellish
there, add another line, etch it. You could do all kinds of different things. But right now,
turn it into a bead.
Say again?
Turn it into a bead.
Turn it into a bead. Yeah, we could do that. So we're about 1,200 or so.
Nice job, Tim.
Up here where I screwed up with the Q and I made that little line. Didn't give that a little detail also. That would have a smaller cube. And this up. Like I say, I've been out of the shop for a while, so you got a bead right there in the center. The other
Yeah,
thing,
you nailed it.
can't really see it. So the other thing you can do is you can wire burn it, enhance it a little bit. So all I did was took a piece of guitar string, 2 little dowel pins that I made. And all my little shavings are out of the way, so I'm not catching stuff on fire in the shop here. Now I just enhanced it.
There you go.
Ooh and ah, right? Smells good in here. Smells like walnuts and stuff. All right, so the next thing I have to do, obviously, is sand this, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut the top. So go ahead and do a quick sand on it. Yes, I should have my dust collector on, but I've got my sand air shield still on, so I'm not worried about the dust right now. And I have an air filtration system in the shop right now. So. Speaking of the trend, I picked that up at SWAT. There was a guy that was, Billy and I were talking to. They were having an estate sale for one of the wood turners that was in a group. And I ended up picking up this thing for $125 with extra filters and whatnot. All right, not gonna spend all night sanding it. Everybody knows how to sand. But we'll give it a little. Once over there with some 220 and maybe some 300 or so. Whole point of all this was just to show you how to make a vase out of a 2-part vase. Not really about my finishing techniques and things.
Yeah, it's a great demo on how to make a little bud vase and have it all hollowed out instead of just drilled up. That's a great demo so far.
Right. So I am just going to re-enhance that line because sanding it, I kind of knocked it down a little bit. I just want to re-enhance that burn mark just to emphasize a little better. All right. So that part's done. The next thing we're going to do, we're just going to flip it around. Oh, my glue didn't set. Sucks to be me. Everything's still lined up and all still looks fairly reasonable. There's a scuff mark in there. All right, well, we're gonna drink some water for a minute, Dan, while that glue tries to set up.
Okay.
Any questions?
Anybody have any questions? Comments? Boy, you're a hard crowd tonight.
Boy, I tell you what, either I'm a good instructor or they just falling asleep on me.
You're a very good instructor.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of details that looks good.
So now I'm switching over to the cone center. I know the thing's not 100% glued and dried, but for time's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over my cone center. Put some pressure on that from the tailstock. And now, remember, I've got my foot down here. I need to go ahead and figure out where I'm parting it off and finish up the bottom. So I flip the base over. I wish I knew where the heck that line came from. But it's there. Still waiting on the glue. All right. So I got my thin parting tool again. It has a 15-degree bevel going back this way and back this way. Kind of want to read, I kind of wanted to find the bottom of my vase. Make sure I'm not too big. I'm not gonna part this thing off. Just kind of defining the bottom. And because now that I've defined that bottom, that's a sharp edge. So I need to kind of do a little safety cut on it. Make sure that I don't have any sharp edge that's going to hurt anybody, especially myself, because I'm the idiot turning. So I'm just gonna kind of walk that edge around. So right now I have a more of a smooth edge there. The next thing I'm going to do is figure out on my top. So I want my top right here. I want it to be kind of beveled in. So I'm going to go ahead and mark my top. And turn this down so it doesn't come flying off and hit me in the face. Not that that's ever happened.
Set.
Now, how big of a hole did I put in there? Do you remember? 3/4 inch, right?
3/4,
So
wasn't
I
it?
should be getting, yeah, I should be getting close to the part to part it off right about there. I'm gonna slow speed down again.
Once you start getting close, you'll feel it being grabby on your parting tool.
Yep. Starting to get grabby. And we're right there. So for safety's sake, so I don't flip this thing apart, I'm just gonna go ahead and use my old saw again. And nose going out just in case.
I just heard those teeth hit your tool rest.
Yeah.
If you had a cast iron tool rest, there'd be a nick in it, but you got that solid bar on there, so no worries.
Yeah, I put a solid bar after it's locked.
Yep. Yeah, it
There
makes
we
a
go.
difference, doesn't it?
All right. Teeth are all good on the saw, nobody's been out or good there. All right. So now all I gotta do is just redefine this top. And we're pretty much done. So, quick question for everybody. How do I seal the inside? What's a good option if I want to put water in it?
Pose
You
that
said you
question
don't
again?
want to, you don't want to seal the inside?
Yeah, how would you seal the inside if you're selling this to a customer?
Aluminite Fast Cure Epoxy.
There you go.
Yep, there you go.
Just some quick fast cure epoxy, right?
Yep.
You can take it, mix it 1-to-1, throw it in the microwave for a little bit, just a little bit. Turn, pour it into the vase. You could use a brush. There's a number of different ways, but if you're doing something, and I did this on the urn that I made for my friend. Literally, I use that epoxy on the inside of the urn, not only to stabilize the wood, but it also ensured that nothing was going to come out, when he's sitting up on the shelf there. So just an idea. All right, hopefully my glue is set up enough that I can do this without it coming apart on me. Light cut. And no. Well, there we go. Gotta find it now.
Yeah, your glue, that quick and fix already set up on you, Tim.
Yeah,
Just
it's
put
set
a
up
little,
quick on it.
just put a little dab on it and then rub it back and forth a couple times for a friction fit, and and it'll set up automatically for you. You know, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, that's all you need.
Like I said, I made this southern one last night. Absolutely no problem. Now we're gonna play let's try to match the grain. Now, if I wasn't doing this for a demo, I'd probably let that sit up for, 15 minutes or so. But it is what it is.
Nah, that's all good, Tim.
Pressure on that. For a couple minutes. 100 or so. All right, so any questions or comments? No,
Nothing in chat, Tim.
That's a shame.
No, you did a good job of explaining all your steps and your processes there.
But all right.
Hey, Tim, wrap a little tape around that before you start turning it again. It'll give it a little support.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to grab a roll of tape. That was my next move. There it is. Say building this doggone chicken coop. Recording my stuff is not where it's supposed to be in the shop. When the
Good
wife
tip,
says,
Scott. Thank you.
I want this, you better say yes, ma'am. How high and how many? All right. Again, sorry if this is taking a little longer, but I'll talk about the process and how I got to where I got.
No, this is a great demo of showing how to hollow something without having all, like you said, having the toys to be able to hollow.
So, the whole point of this demo this way will show you don't need all that expensive Trent Bosch gear and all the, Tim Yoder elbow tool and, all that other stuff to do a hollow form. You do a hollow form, like this. How long did it take me? Well, because I was talking more than anything else. Didn't take very long.
No.
You probably knock it out in about 20 minutes or so to get set up. If you're doing multiples of it, work in stages and have everything all set. All your blanks rounded, then all you gotta do is just knock it out, one-step process. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and have this little critter off. So there we go. Sits nice and level. It has a nice tapered edge to it. Of course, I got to sand that nub off, and finish it, but there you go. And you have a nice wide opening. If you put your epoxy down up in there, the thing can be watertight, and then you can have any type of wet flower or fresh flowers in there. So just something just a little bit different instead of having the test tube. And nothing wrong with the test tube. I've got a bunch of them sitting here in the shop. Reason it wasn't a bigger piece of wood, I went out to my wood pile and they were all cracked. Because silly me, I forgot to put doggone anchor seal on the end of them after I cut them, because I ended up having to go train the guard. And by the time I got back, all that fresh cut wood was all split. So I can make bowls out of it, but I can't make vases and stuff. So there you go. Any questions, gripes, techniques, things you want to see better?
I think it's a great process. Did a fantastic job.
In the chat.
Nice job, Tim.
All right, guys.
Did a good job. Way to work through up there at the end.
Thank you, Tim.
We'll do it again sometime when I can get some different wood and stuff.
Well done.
So I do have a question, Tim. With regards to sealing the inside, would it be beneficial to seal it individually, for each half, to go ahead and make up your epoxy and put a nice thin coat on it right before you glue it up, and then while you're finishing profile on the outside, it's spinning and getting soaked
I would
in?
say probably no. I would say no,
No?
on that, Dane. The reason that I say that is once you get the outside, where you want it and everything, your epoxy coating to be seamless so it wouldn't leak. You want to do that all at one time. That's just my opinion. I mean, you come up with your own way of doing it, but
Yeah, sure.
that was my opinion.
PA glue would be waterproof, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sure would.
Right. So, any other questions?
Yeah, where'd you get that blue gilding?
So the which?
The blue gilding that you had around it.
Okay, there's our comedian. Way to go, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody put him back on mute.
Yeah, really.
That stuff.
Amazon.
But one
Great
option
demo,
you
Tim.
could do here, you could do a band, and I put a link to a guy who also has a really great video that he did for his club about 2 years ago. His name is Chris Lawrence, and it's blacklabelwoodworks.com. That's in the chat there. He actually put the turquoise inlay in that. So he cut a band in there and did turquoise inlay with CA glue and the crushed turquoise. So there's a lot of different ways you can embellish that, hide that scene. But there you go. That's all I got.
Great demo, Tim.
Right on. Well, once again, thank you very much, Tim.
Awesome job.
Tim, that was a very enjoyable evening. I'll tell you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I mean,
Appreciate it.
really enjoyable. Man, I was front and center.
Well, like I said, I want to do something a
Thank
little bit different that we haven't talked about in a long time. Because not everybody, in our group has all the high expensive stuff. So let me switch cameras here. Looking at my hand for some reason. But yeah, that was the purpose of it. And yeah,
That was
Great
very
demo.
enjoyable.
thank you.
That was
Appreciate it.
very enjoyable.
Like it says, I drink coffee and I make things or build things. All right, that's all I got, Dave.
All right, thank you, sir.
What did
Nice
you
stuff.
use?
So much.
Before we take off here, this is a question for Jeff Walters, who said to use the Alumilite. Was it Fast Cure? Because Alumilite makes a couple of quick epoxies. Which
Yeah,
one was it, Jeff?
I probably didn't get the name right. It's Alumilite. It's fast.
Luminite's a name brand.
Yeah, and it's like it's fast set or quick set.
Because they've got a quick coat. Is that it?
Yeah, that could be it.
Okay.
It's been a couple years since I worked with it myself.
Yeah.
But that's what I used it for.
Any quick set, regardless of what the name brand is, will work for those purposes.
All right. So this is Alumilite quick coat epoxy, and the thing says it cures in as little as 4 hours at 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and you can reapply a coat at 1.5 to 2 hours.
Yeah, that's the stuff. I'm looking at it now myself.
Okay. All right. Amazing quick coat is the epoxy. Okay.
Yeah.
There's another type right here.
And actually, Walmart has
So
it a
this,
better price than Alumilite does.
Yeah, I'm not
Well-
surprised.
Darn.
Podcast I picked up at Hobby Lobby for $24.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Made
There
it
it is.
clear. Yep.
Is it 50? Is it 50-50?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is a
plus
50/50.
Okay.
So quick and easy. All right, I'm out of here.
Thank you, Tim.
Yep. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Once again, if anybody wants to be a demonstrator, all they got to do is self-identify, reach out to me, reach out to Captain Eddie, reach out to any other co-hosts. They'll put you in contact with me. It's real simple to do. Tim's doing it on his phone and a regular camera set up onto his computer. I do my demos on the phone. Cade does some on his phone. Scott Tague, he does his on a phone and with some basic cameras. Lots of us do it. It's real simple to do. We'd like to get some new people in for demonstrators. We've got Jeff Walters coming up here later in the month. He's one of the latest new people. It could be you. Just reach out to us. And typically I don't announce, but I just figured I'd ring your bell there for a little bit, Jeff. I see you kind of like that a little bit. So, but anybody can be a demonstrator. So with that, let's I want to go over to Captain Eddie and see what he thought about this outstanding demo. Captain Eddie.
I think it was pretty good. Thank you, Tim. And Tim, I did that thing a long time ago, hollowing on a cheap Not that I was frugal or cheap or anything, you know, but really a lot of wood turners can't afford the fancy tools, just like you said. And the tool doesn't make the talent. You know what you got right here and right here, that's where it comes from. So if you can take that bar and put a cutter on the end of it and make it, I gotta flip all the way back to the idea of, look what David Ellsworth started hollowing with. Well, go back and look at the original Ellsworth hollowing tools. But take a really good look at them. They were a bar with a tab sticking out. There was one on an angle and one straight in. The one straight in was to get the start and get it in there, and on one on the angle was to hollow it out. That was the original hollowing tools for David Ellsworth. Yeah. Hey, you want, well, why didn't this guy get any better stuff? There wasn't a lot of other toys and knickknacks and gadgets. See, you don't need toys, knickknacks, and gadgets to do this. Tim just showed you. You can just go in and do this. But hey, if you're going to fool around with a round stock, Tim, you might have missed the part about put a reference mark down at the top of your bar. So when you're holding it, you know when to twist it a little bit, because that's the on-off switch right there. When you twist it on, and then if you turn it too much, it turns off. And if you turn it too much, it flips around. You know that feeling when it goes, yeah, and we've all felt it. So that's one of the things. And if it's a flat bar and you're trying to do it, it's going to catch more because it's hard to get that angle just right. That's just an opinion, but you know, a lot of people made square bar tools. I did for years because guys and gals couldn't follow how to get that twist, that little tweak. I've always found that working with the tool that cuts like a scraper, and these tools cut sort of like a scraper. And if I'm using the wrong term, I apologize, but they do go cut with just the edge. You don't gouge, you slice away the wood. That's the beauty of good wood turning, is slicing away the wood. And when you find that perfect little sweet spot, you get the curlicues coming out. And when you get the curlicues coming out, you get smoother, finer parts coming out, and they empty out of the vessel easy. They control it. You don't get any heat buildup, and you don't get the when you're making heavy cuts, and you do get a certain degree of heat and steam, which causes you some problems with wood movement and hard to control parts. And that's when you get the splits. Halfway through, you say, I got a crack. Where did the crack come from? You did it. You gave it so much abuse and so hard that you caused it. What makes a crack? Movement of moisture and temperatures make a piece of wood crack. Almost all wood will crack when you remove moisture or add heat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When you start changing its natural atmosphere, which is just a block of wood, when you start changing that and taking some pressure off of it, then you're going to open it up to new arenas, the new things that can happen. So while you're doing that, let's be careful. He bored some holes with a bit. And now, I tell you, see, you hit a little heaviness in that bit. All right. That might be needing a little bit of a cleaning and polishing. Tim, I'm looking real hard looking at your bits now, but you know, when you're doing deep boring with Forstner bits, you got to be careful about what kind of shape they're in, because they're running a clean channel. It's like a train running through a tunnel that's just a little bit tight. Well, this one's always a little bit tight, and it builds up some heat. That heat's what? Cracks and swelling and movement and jamming, etc. So always watch. Don't go fooling around on the outside, sharpening the outside. The blade stays the blade. Take a look at when it comes out the package, where there's a sharp edge and where it's at. Look at it when it's brand new and remember it. Take a picture with your phone if you can't remember it. Look at what's sharp, and that's what's always got to be sharp. But if the outside's not clean, and I'm talking about just taking some steel wool or some 800 grit paper and knocking the crud and mud off the outside, getting it clean. Don't wax it. That's an ugly idea. But all those little tricks Tim showed you 100 of them tonight, a little demonstration. All those little tricks, you combine them, put them all together, and you come out with a really nice piece of work. And we all just now heard 5 or 6 people talk about what kind of epoxy to use, etc. Time can be your enemy. If you have to do it quickly, find something that works with you quickly. Don't make a long-term project go faster than it should, because you will not like the results. You will not. I've always found that Hobby Lobby or one of those places sold a real clear coat type epoxy. And I don't know what it was used for. I really don't. I happened upon it one day, but it poured like water, but it came out slick as glass. And I had a can of it, and I just dumped it in the vessel and slushed it around a little bit and dump whatever came back out, and it gave me a good solid sealing. What I would want to be for waterproof, unless I double or triple the coats, but it didn't work. So play around a little bit. Tim did a great demonstration for us tonight, and he opened the door for a whole lot more. I know Jeff's coming up in a couple of weeks or a few meetings, and we have room for other demonstrations. And as Danny said a little while ago, this is open to you, our membership. Remember, folks, this is your wood turning club. Yes, your wood turning club is the only one like it in the entire world, because it is free to everybody all the time. Every single thing we do goes on the world's finest wood turning website, worldwidewoodturners.org. And every other week, you can get you an issue of Wood Turners Worldwide. Yes. Al, when I'm looking at my screen right now, that's backwards. Yeah. So, Al, I should hold it up like this. You know, Al, if you moved that piece you were showing us one more time, I'd have to go get Dramamine. I swear.
I have to figure something out, because
all right, work it out, Al, please. I mean, I get seasick. I'm a captain. I get seasickness. But if you have an idea for something like that, get hold of us. Let us know you have an idea for a project. Let me give you a suppose. This is just a suppose. Suppose you have an idea for a project and you're incapable of doing it, but you think it's a fantastic project. Do you know you could talk to us about it? You could get a hold of us and give us your idea of a project, and we may be able to find somebody else to either help you or do it with you, or, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because we're all in this together. You know, there's no saying that I can't use your idea and you can't use mine. That's what we want to see. And this thing, we opened it up 5 years ago to everybody on equal plane. So what you're seeing are demonstrators from right out there, right on the tailgate, just come right off the tailgate. And that's where we want them from. So we're going to look out there again. If there's somebody out there on the tailgate wants to demonstrate, they're going to be right here. So download a copy of today's newsletter. It's out. The updated versions are on our website right now. On our website, right? Yeah, you can get it there. Share it, download it, put it in a message, put it in an email, and share it. It is made to be shared with every wood turner in the world. We have no restrictions, folks. No restrictions whatsoever. What happens here happens in front of everybody. And that's why we will create it. And that's what this is all about. I want to see what you do. I want to see your work. I want to see your talents and your art. And speaking of that, we probably got Matt working on a list of people who want to show off their gallery items tonight.
I think so.
We do.
Yeah.
We have a few. So let's go to Howard King first.
Howard,
He's got-
no. I should have had restrictions. Should have had.
Oh man.
Can we put restrictions on it yet?
No, man, I
Yeah.
love Howard's stuff. I love that. You've had some very interesting things posted in the last couple of days too. So I want to see them.
Well, I've been working on this for about 3 or 4 months. I don't know if y'all see that.
Need to learn how to
Wow.
edges. Where's he at?
I don't
I'm
know,
right
somebody-
here.
he-
Hey, hey,
he
hey.
went away. He's
There we
back.
are. I've been working about 3 or 4 months on this. I don't know if y'all can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
Falling apart.
It's falling apart, yeah. But
Holy smokes.
God.
This burrow was on a pretty dead tree. In fact, you can see part of the tree right here, this part. And it was a day from being dust, basically. And so I was wanting to save as much of this burl as I could. So I got some wood hardener to harden this so that I could put a good tenon on it so that I could core it out. So I ended up using about $60 worth of wood hardener. And
is that it?
Well, there were $20 for a little, I guess, half quart, and I kept using it. You're supposed to you put it on there till it starts getting glossy, and it never would. So anyway, I got it finally where I had to get a tenon on here and turn it, and then pour out the first piece. But then this inside part of the tree, it was about a day away from being dust. So I had to solidify this and get it where I could turn the inside of this. So all this, just on this one, took me about a month to get it where I could, get something. And I discovered this wood hardener. When you start sanding the wood, it just grinds up. It just fills up the sandpaper. It just, so I don't know. Use a ton.
What kind of wood hardener did you use, Howard?
Minwax wood hardener there from Lowe's.
Right.
And it's $20 for a little half pint thing. And so I used 3 of them. And so
wow.
But anyway, then it took me about 2 weeks to get the next one where I could get a tenon on it because it still had part of the tree in here that was a day away from being dust, and I had to get that hard. Finally got a tenon on it, poured that part out. And so, but anyway, I eventually got finished with it. I ended up with four pieces.
Nice.
So, and here's the last one. And when I got to these, there was no remnants of the tree trunk at all. So that was no problem. These first 2 was the big problems trying to get it out. And so I tried to save as much as I could, and there wasn't much left. And so I couldn't even put a tenon on this. I'd use a recess. So this was a little kind of thick there on the bottom, but
very nice.
I finally got finished with it. It's got oil, several coats of oil finished on it, then wax. And so anyway,
looks good.
Very nice, Howard.
Very nice.
So I'm gonna go take a nap now. So I'm tired. I'm tired of working on this thing.
You got anything else to show us tonight?
Is that not enough?
It's plenty, Howard.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. Okay.
Scott Teague said he has something to show us, so we'll go to him next.
So Dane was talking about different grinds on drill bits. So if you don't have one of these fancy angle finders to find the correct angle on your drill bit, which is used like this, with that to find the correct angle, you can take 2 nuts, glue them together, and it'll set your angle.
Huh.
Yep.
It's just another little tip for you so you don't have to go out and find a fancy angle finder. Two regular nuts, any size, they're all the same angle when you glue them together. That's 135 degrees, and that's what this drill bit's ground at.
So how do you use that angle to drill it, to set to sharpen the bit?
So when you grind this angle from the tip to the outside of the wing has to be 135 degrees. Well, if you don't get that at the right angle, when you go to drill with it, it won't drill. So when you're drilling that, cutting that drill bit on the grinder, it's a way to check to make sure you got your jig set up, or like I grind mine by hand, and you just make sure that both your wings are at the correct angle.
So you're doing that on the plate, on the grinder?
I grind them by hand.
Does that mean on the
I
plate
just
or
stick it on the grinder and I twist it?
Yeah, but is it on the plate, or how are you doing that?
No, I do it freehand.
Okay, all right.
My hand's on the plate, but I'm doing it freehand.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Dane has a fancy jig for doing it, but if you still got to check it to make sure your jig is correct. So this is just a way to check, to verify you set your jig correctly.
I just cheat and use my drill doctor.
Or use that. But if you don't have that stuff, or you don't know what the angle is on a drill bit, if it's 100, they're either 118 or 135. This will give you the 135, and you'll need an angle finder to find the 118 degrees. But it's just a quick way to check your angles on your drill bits to get the correct angle set.
Be darn.
Old machinist trick.
Fascinating.
So
very cool.
And I just use super glue to glue them together. That way, if you want to break them apart and use them on, if you need the nuts for something else, you can break them apart. But
right.
So that's just a little trick that I learned a long time ago, how to grind angles. I grind them by hand, so I don't use a jig. So you have to check them somehow. Your
Very
eyes
cool.
aren't
All right,
good
well,
enough to get them.
Thank you, Scott. That's a very useful tip. I'm not
So,
sure that my
real
hand
quick-
is good enough to.
So real quick, I'll show the platforms that I've made, which is also what I've showed in tips and tricks last winter. So I have two of them. One's for 118. Turn them around here. And one's for 135 degrees. So I've got those two sets. And so if you got 135 degrees, to find the angle that you need to cut your slot at, that the drill bit's going to rest in, just take the degree of the inclusive angle of the drill bit, in this case 135 degrees, divide that in half, and then cut yourself a V slot. Take yourself a square piece of wood. On the back, glue on a piece of fence. And now that fence rides against your platform. You set your platform 90 degrees to your wheel. Set a drill bit in. Set your drill bit in. Have the flute of your drill bit right at your grinding wheel, and all you got to do is just slide this platform right across the platform on your grinder, and that flute's done. Flip it over, do the same thing, and then you're going to have a perfectly sharpened flute on your drill bit. And these replace your drill doctor. And you just use your scrap wood you got laying around underneath the workbench or on the floor. That's it for me.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Amazing.
And
Thank
like
you.
I said,
So
I did a full-on tips and tricks demo on how to do this back in the last quarter of 2023 for our tips and tricks, or it was the first quarter of 2024. So it's available to see how it's done. in real time.
Thank you, Dane.
Yep.
So Glenn's got something to show for us. What you got, Glenn?
Well, I have something, but I would just want to show you too what when talking about sharpening your drill bits. I use this little gauge here. I made this one back in '71 when I started in the machine shop trade school, and we had to do all this, file it, cut it out with a hacksaw, everything with hand tools, files. And I use it my whole career. And so, okay, you just, like Scott said, just, I just freehand my drill bits, and you just lay your drill bit, and if you have the right angle, it should fit right in here.
Cool.
So, but, and then you have your little notches, graduations here. It shows you when you grind each side, if you wouldn't, for them to be the same, each flat needs to be the same length. So you just make sure that the point lines up with the little graduation. So, but that's just something I used for many years. So
I have one of those too, Glenn.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to show today, this is my version of I had taken a class with Barry Todd back in 2017, and then I had seen on his videos too that he had done a Tiffany series. He turned basically out of like lamps, make it look like a lamp. But this one isn't. It's not a lamp, but it's a number of pieces. This one is the bottom is walnut. It's hard to see it here with the light. This is wingy. The spindle here is out of Cocobolo. The shade is out of hard maple. This cap's out of wingy, and the finial's out of Cocobolo.
Nice.
So, but I had got it's hard maple. I had got it from my son-in-law's father. I went to see him back in New Hampshire a couple of years ago. He gave me a piece of the maple. I was just going to use it as a bowl, but then I had seen that what Barry Todd had done, so I just tried to make what he did, and took
Very
about
nice.
5-6 hours to do the wood burning on it. Drew it, laid it all out, and I drew one of the dragonflies, and then I used carbon paper and traced them all on each side. And
Right.
but that was something I had wanted to do for a while, and so I finally finished it up. So
Sure looks good.
Very nice. Excellent observation, Sue. So is that purely decorative? It's not functional in any way, is it? It's not an actual light?
No, it's you can see it's not. It just it kind of looks like a lamp shade. Because I think the ones Barry Todd also did, they were just they looked like a lamp. He had done some with the natural lead burl, and he had done one like this.
That's a
probably
Tiffany.
could make it a functional one, but I wasn't going to go that far.
Very nice. Very nice.
Nice
Thanks.
job, Glenn.
Thanks.
All right. Well, that's all I got on my list, Dane. So we'll go back to you.
All right. Well, we're almost to the top of the hour, so
Oh, wait a minute,
Captain Eddie,
we got a late entry here.
Okay.
So, hey, John, you got to start your video in order to highlight you. There we go. What you got, John?
All right, I got a couple things. So I did this, see if I get the light here. I did this last year. I took a class with Donna Banfield on texturing. So this is just a little object, you know, and then we did some dry brush painting. I don't know, this probably has somewhere around 30 coats. It goes like a kind of orange and then kind of goes up to a little kind of orange and yellow at the top. It was pretty fun to do. And then I got this little vase that I also did. Yeah, my light is horrible, so I wish I could get it better, but I just can't. Maybe that's a little bit better. All right, so I did the same kind of technique where you're darker on the bottom and then gradually go up to the top. So that was a lot of fun.
Very nice.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Back to you, Dane.
Thank you, John. All right. Well, we're almost at the top of the hour. What a meeting we've had tonight. A lot of great gallery. Had some tips and tricks thrown in there. We even had a spot on demo. So hopefully everybody enjoyed it this evening. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Keep your ears and your eyes posted for more information coming out with Level Up. I've been dragging my feet here the last month. I'm going to be getting a meeting together with some of the folks and getting some more information out there with regards to the format and how it's going to flow and whatnot. So the wheels are turning on that. Been my fault. I've been dragging my feet on. I've been busy with some other stuff and preoccupied, and I apologize for the lack of additional information on that. But, beyond that, we're at the top of the hour. If anybody has any quick questions or comments about anything, I'll let everybody go. I will be keeping the meeting open for the after hours program. So, you know, if folks want to drop off and not feel guilty about saying goodbye or announcing their departure, you know, no worries there. Beyond that, you know, if you want to demonstrate, I'm waiting to pull in some more demonstrations for the group. I've been planning just tonight. I've got everything planned out till Thanksgiving weekend, so I'm looking for somebody during the Thanksgiving week to do a demonstration and of course beyond. But filling the palette out. It could be you. Could be somebody that you sit beside here in this room. But anyhow, with that, we'll call this a wrap for the meeting tonight. Great job, everybody. And we'll go from there.
Keep all those people in Florida in your prayers, folks. They're our members and they may need your help.
That's right.
And not only Florida, but right up the East Coast. We're all Americans and we're all trying to get through this. So we'll see all y'all next week, everybody.
Sounds good. Thanks, Captain Eddie.
You're welcome, folks. Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night, everybody. Y'all take care.
Good night,
We'll see you
everybody.
next
Good night,
week.
everyone.
Hey, Eddie.
We got it. You know.